Okay, let's go over your study guide for your final. Half of your final is going to be filling out this unit circle, and the other half is answering 10 questions based on the unit circle. So I'll hand you a blank sheet just like this. You'll fill it out, and then you'll use that to answer 10 more questions. So let's fill this thing out. Let's start with degrees. We'll start over here on the right side. And this is 0. We'll start with 0 degrees. If I get my pen to work. Come on, pen. Not wanting to work. There we go. 0 degrees. And then we'll go up to 30 degrees. 45, 60, and 90. So if you'll notice, these spaces right here are 30 apart, 30 degrees apart, and then these spaces right here are 15 degrees apart. So if you remember that, we'll go all the way around. So 30 more is 120, and then 15 degrees more, 135, 150, and then 30 more is 180, 30 more, 210, 15 more, 225, 240, 270, 300, 315, 330, and then back around to 360. Okay, so there's your degrees. All right, now let's do our radians. These are in terms of pi. And so we will start out with 0 radians. And then we'll go up to 30 degrees, which that every 30 degrees you go is a 1/6 pi, or pi over 6. So pi over 6. And every 45 degrees you go is a 1/4 of a pi. So pi over 4. And then every 60 degrees you go is a 1/3 of a pi, so pi over 3. And every 90 degrees you go is a 1/2 a pi, or pi over 2. Okay? So let's keep going. As long as you got this quadrant right here figured out, you can figure out the rest of the unit circle. So every 60 degrees is a 1/3 of a pi. So if I go 60, that's a 1/3. 120, 60 more, that's 2/3, or 2 pi over 3. And then all these in the middle of your quadrants, those are fourths. So if this is 1/4, another 45 would be at 90, that's 2/4, or a 1/2. Another 45 would be 3/4, so 3 pi over 4. So everywhere, every position in the middle of your quadrant is going to be some pi over 4. All right, and then at 150, that's, if we kept going with our pi over 6, every 30 degrees is a 1/6 pi. So if we go 1/6 pi, 30 more is 2/6 pi, or 1/3. 3/6 pi is a 1/2. 4/6 pi is 2/3, and 5/6. That's 5/6, and then another 30 is 6 over 6 pi, which is just 1 pi. So 180 is pi. All right, let's keep going. 30 more, that's 7/6 over pi, so 7 pi over 6. How many fourths is it right here in the middle? It's going to be 5/4. And then how many thirds? That's 4 pi over 3. And then how many halves? This is 3 halves. And then how many thirds? This is 5/3, 5 pi over 3. How many fourths? 7/4, 7 pi over 4. And how many sixths? It's 11 pi over 6. So there's all my radians. Oh, let's go back to the top, that's 2 pi. So halfway around the circle is pi, all the way back around is 2 pi. So there are your degrees and your radians. Okay, now that we have our degrees and radians, let's finish our coordinates on the outside. The radius on the unit circle is 1. That's why it's called the unit circle, 1 unit. So we'll start with this coordinate on the right. That is 1, 0. We go right 1, and we don't go up or down, so 1, 0. This coordinate at the top is 0, 1. Okay, and then these in the middle, these are based off your special right triangles, 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. So this at 30 degrees is root 3 over 2, 1/2, and then at 60 it's just flipped, 1/2, root 3 over 2, and then at 45 degrees it's root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. Okay, so as long as we got this first quadrant filled out, we can figure out the rest of the quadrants. So let's look at those. All right, so we got our first quadrant. The second quadrant, we're just going to change our signs of our coordinates. Our first quadrant is positive, positive. Our second quadrant is negative, positive. X is negative, Y is positive. So this coordinate is going to, at 120, it's going to be negative 1/2, positive root 3 over 2. And then at 135, right in the middle, that's negative root 2 over 2, positive root 2 over 2. And then at 150, that is negative root 3 over 2. This thing keeps jumping in the way. Positive 1/2. Negative root 3 over 2, positive 1/2. And then at 180, remember the radius is 1. So negative negative 1, 0. Goodness, can't get my pen to work. Okay, so we got our coordinates for the first and second quadrant. Let's do the third quadrant now. This is going to be negative, negative in the third quadrant. So negative root 3 over 2, negative 1/2, negative root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2, and negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2 at 240. At 270, 0, negative 1. At 300, 1/2. This is quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is positive, negative. 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. Positive root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. Positive root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. So there you have your unit circle completed. That'll be half of your final, filling this unit circle out.